Greetings, beloved. Welcome this evening to Togetherness Media. We have an amazing show for you today. We have an amazing guest who's going to be schooling us a little bit. But right now, let's jazz up our day with a little bit of my homie JJ. Actually, let's do some latest acts. And while we bring it on back, we're going to bring it on back. By the way, if you haven't voted yet, make sure to go out and vote. All right. Now we'll play some music. I just had to tell you that first. Actually, I need to stick with that a little bit longer. It makes such a difference. It makes such a powerful difference when we make our voices heard. I know sometimes the candidates are less than inspiring for some of us. Even if you don't agree with the candidate, get out there and vote for the initiatives. There are so many important ballot measures that affect you, that affect your state, that affect your city, that you really need to pay attention to, and that you really need to get out there and make your voices heard. You can mail in your ballot, you could take in your ballot to a polling place early, or if you can't do that, sometimes I just enjoy the feeling of being there right next to the next person who's waiting in line to take part of the process. It's not a perfect union, but it is our job to make it a more perfect union. And sitting on the sidelines doesn't do that. Sitting on the sidelines won't make that happen. We need to dance with democracy. And right now, we're about to go ahead and bring in. Let's bring in a coach, because right now the nation's going through so much trauma. And we'll play music later. The nation's going through so much trauma, but sometimes there's just a lot of drama. So we're going to bring in Coach Bonnie Sadigh, to talk about the trauma and the drama that we go through in our daily life. How are you today?
Doing well, Anthony. So good to be with you again, and
You
to
too.
all the viewers. Hello, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
That's
How's
right.
your week been?
Week has been really good. Getting ready to vote tomorrow. I know in California, early voting starts tomorrow, October
Yes.
30th. So as you said, go
Yes.
ahead and vote. Get there early. Cast your vote. It does matter. If
It
you
does.
think your vote doesn't matter, it sure does matter. And as you said, we do have a lot of important initiatives. Vote for those. Get out there, get your voice heard, and do your duty.
Yeah, and there's a sense of empowerment to it too, isn't there? Of yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I think it's a little bit late to mail in the ballots, but you can drop it in or walk in and
Yes, to any polling place.
Voting place, yes.
Yes, beautiful. So,
Yes.
all right, so now that we did our public service announcement, let's serve the public.
Yes.
So, there's a lot of people going through so much trauma. I have so many friends who constantly have so much trauma. But then I also have some friends who have a lot of drama compounded on top of their trauma. And then I have other people who have very little true trauma, but they have a lot of drama that they use things as excuses so that they don't grow. So can we talk about when trauma becomes drama and when drama becomes trauma, and how to deal with it as if you're a person, and how to deal with it if you're around the people?
Sure. So a lot of times we mistake drama with trauma and stress.
Yeah.
They are usually, we interchangeably use them as the same, but they're very different.
Yes.
When trauma happens, trauma is when an experience happens to someone that they believe their life is in danger. Something dramatic, something really awful, a situation that is threatening their life is happening, and it can affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay, and it can disturb the individual so much that it becomes disabling for them to move forward. They are overwhelmed with terror, and So that is trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma, when you are feeling trauma, you're feeling abandonment, isolation, helplessness, hopelessness, and you're overwhelmed with terror. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes in a very similar situation, people react to that situation differently. As something that I can experience as a traumatic experience might not be traumatic to you. So
Mm.
that is how resilient we are to that situation and how our brain interprets that
Yeah.
situation as being traumatic or not traumatic.
It's
And then,
interesting. If you don't mind, like, there's I'm a huge fan of comic books and old school hero myths, and it's interesting that it's always usually a childhood trauma that oftentimes creates a lot of these heroes and a lot of these stories. So sometimes the ways that people react to traumas are sometimes different. Some people shell up, and some people do different things, like to make themselves feel safe in other ways. I think that's one reason, like, a lot of those heroes end up becoming, they try to find ways to make them feel safe and make everybody else feel safe. So I guess there's a couple different ways that people's minds go.
exactly, yes. So people react or respond to trauma differently.
Mm,
Some people withdraw. Some people get into depression. Some people feel hopeless and helpless, and
mm,
they have all kinds of different physical and physiological symptoms that
mm,
shows up for them. So
mm.
everybody reacts differently to trauma.
What are some of the
That is
physiological symptoms?
uh, sweating, heartbeat racing, shaking uncontrollably when you're facing a traumatic situation.
Mm.
So you feel it all over your body. Actually, sometimes you get into that fight
Fight or flight. Yeah.
stage. Yes, and then your body either freezes or wants to fight or flight. So all kinds of different symptoms comes up when we are faced with traumatic situation. And in cases of childhood trauma, sometimes in case of, let's say, bullying,
Mm,
kids come home and they complain of stomach ache, or they withdraw, they don't want to socialize with their friends
mm.
anymore, and they have, yeah, so it shows up differently in adults than in children. Now, we do have different kinds of traumas. As you said, childhood trauma is very, very, very real, and it's one of the traumas that we experience. And bullying is another one that actually in adulthood can transform in being very passive and not being able to speak up and to
Mm.
voice your opinions. And domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
physical abuse, medical trauma,
Mm.
community trauma. Now, community trauma is something that we don't often talk about, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, in Black communities, when a Black unarmed person gets killed, uh, the trauma of that event, it's not only for the family and the close friends of that person, but it gets carried on to the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the
Or and
nervousness, like the nervousness you
yes,
might
like
be getting pulled over by a police officer,
absolutely,
even if there's nothing. Yeah.
exactly. Well, the it becomes like a secondary trauma for you,
Yeah.
even though you're not directly affected by that trauma, but you can conceptualize and really feel the trauma within you, because that could be you next. Okay,
Exactly.
so you might withdraw, don't want to go out to work, you rather stay home. So all that trauma really stays with the community, not just
Hmm.
the family members or the friends of the person that was killed.
Have you
So
seen any people expressing that type of trauma by COVID currently? That some people might be reacting, having there's almost a you think, like a communal traumatic experience?
Yes. Well, for those that have experienced firsthand someone losing someone through COVID, absolutely, that's a
Mm,
traumatic experience. Uh, but just hearing about COVID, that that doesn't put me directly in harm's way. My life, it's not in the immediate danger. So
mm.
if my life is not in immediate danger, that is a trauma with a small t, I like to call it.
Okay.
Yes. We
Or
all,
in
yes.
Spanish, a traumita.
Yeah, definitely we are going through some um, distress and even trauma with everything that is going with the world today. It's just we are feeling pandemic fatigue. We
Hmm.
are feeling the uncertainty and the overwhelm. Everything is just bearing us down. So yes, the fear and the trauma of COVID is real for some people more so than others. Now, having said that COVID could have traumatic effect or long term effect on some people.
Hmm.
Some people tend to live in fear.
Mm, yeah.
We want to stay away from that. We want to stay away from living in fear. We take precautions. Your
Yeah.
program before I came on was about how to take care of yourself and how to be responsible when you go out. So if you take all of that into consideration and become a responsible adult, then you don't need to live in fear.
So, how many people use trauma or they hold on to their trauma too hard because it gives them an excuse to not move forward? There's true trauma, and then there's sometimes a little bit of drama compounded on it that's used as something that people use subconsciously to hold themselves back.
Very true. So trauma is real.
Yes, of course.
Drama, drama is a production. We
Yeah.
produce it. We produce it. We can be dramatic. We can be dramatic about a bad haircut. We can be dramatic about getting a C instead of an A in a test. So we drama is mostly in our head. We tend to exaggerate the negative to a point that we make it and we want it to sound dramatic.
Hmm.
And usually the drama people want some kind of an attention. They
Hmm.
like to be center of attention. They like to get the sympathy and the empathy, and they like to uh, be seen as the victim. I
Hmm.
don't know why anyone wants to be seen as a victim, but that there's a there's a joy that they get from their misery. They like to
Hmm.
emphasize on the misery that I'm really hurting. I'm really in pain. This situation is really bad. So drama usually comes with an audience.
Hmm.
Trauma is within you. It's not you necessarily don't um, want to talk about your trauma with others,
Mm.
or you don't need an audience for your trauma. Your trauma
Okay.
is real to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so that's the difference between drama and trauma.
Yeah. And then, in true trauma, it seems a lot of people, my friends who have true trauma, I usually find that it's more real by the fact that they have certain triggers and certain triggers that trigger their trauma more so than other thing. And that's one thing
Exactly.
I've seen. Seem like people who have more of the drama that they're always triggered. Like the trigger stays on like auto blast, like a machine gun. But like my friends who have actual true trauma seem like that there's more nuanced triggers to it.
Absolutely. So anytime that we are put into that similar situation, either by our five senses, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, vision, hearing, feeling, smelling, and taste. Whenever those are present, and it reminds us of the past experience, that triggers that traumatic experience triggers in the body. Now, usually I give this example to people for to understand how the mind works. Imagine two people standing in front of the ocean at the shore, okay, and they're watching the same ocean. The waves are crashing in, and one person is very obviously stressed, and you can see the shaking and the sweating, and uh, him being very, very uncomfortable standing in front of that ocean looking at the
Mm.
waves, while the other person is joyous. It's really happy. You can see the excitement, you can feel the excitement.
Yeah.
And when they were asked what was going on, you are looking at exactly the same thing. Why are you having two different reactions? The person that was so excited and joyous was a surfer and loved having seeing waves, and he lived to be able to go surfing. So that uh, related to him as something really exciting and happy. While the other guy had a near death experience about a month ago at the same ocean.
Mm.
So this is how the triggers are, as you mentioned, the triggers that rewires and replays that experience for us, and it brings it back to life for us again.
What are some things you could recommend for some people who are dealing with trauma? What steps would you recommend for them to take in their life?
I do have a very effective NLP technique that deals with trauma. I'm not going to go through the steps for one reason, because it needs to be done in a professional setting,
Okay.
because a part of this technique is to relive the trauma.
What is the
And
technique called?
if I go through the steps, and if the viewers want to do this on their own and they get stuck in the emotion of that
Uh,
trauma, they need a professional to take them out of that
okay, wow.
negativity. So
Yeah.
yes, there are ways that trauma can be healed, and talking about it, journaling about it, seeking professional help, meditation, being in nature, um, taking up a hobby that suits you, music, dancing, anything that can ground you. Those are all very helpful tips for dealing with trauma.
Yeah. I just thought of the stupidest joke. Um, which which musical instrument has gone through the most pain? A trombone. Um, anyway,
That's it.
so
That's good. I like that.
when does somebody know that it's trauma internally? Like like how long will these effects have to, like all these physical effects and all these things have to take place in their system before they should go and seek help?
Depends on the severity of the trauma, and is was it a one incident that happened, or was it
Hmm.
like a chronic
Repeated.
trauma that kept happening over years, like if someone was raped, or if someone was continuously abused physically through the years. So there's a not one protocol that would say, okay, you need to be healed by 1 year or 6 months.
Hmm.
It all depends on how willing you are to go deep and do the tough work to be able to eliminate the traumatic experiences in your life. So
Hmm.
not a one size fits all,
Yeah.
um, but it definitely can be healed.
What can we do as friends to support, or and family members and community, to support the people with trauma in our life?
Don't try to undermine the feelings that they're going to.
Hmm.
As I said, for some people, a traumatic experience might be really, really hard. For some people, that might not be an even a traumatic event. So, undermining their feelings is one thing that we don't want to do.
Okay.
Okay.
So like,
Um,
so like I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I'm here for you as you go through it.
exactly. Exactly. And I'm sorry to see you this sad or this depressed or this uncomfortable. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through, it's okay. Know that I'm here with no judgment, and I'm here to give a supporting hand. Okay.
Okay.
And sometimes we say, what can I do to help you? And it's a very good intention phrase, and people often say it because they don't know what to do. And sometimes you say, you know what, get ready, I'm coming to pick you up, we're going to go for pizza, we're going to go for a walk together. So initiate that, what can I do for you, instead of waiting for them to tell you what they want you to
Mm-hmm.
do. Take
Take action.
initiative.
Yeah.
Take action and say, you know what, I'm coming over to watch a movie together.
Mm-hmm.
So just be there for them, and without any judgment, without undermining their feelings.
Assertive
Their feelings
assistance.
are feelings. Hmm?
Assertive assistance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. And what can we do for our friends who have drama, who are just dramatic?
To say stop the drama. We have enough trauma in our lives that there is no room for drama.
Yeah.
You know, people with drama usually feed off of people that are engaging. The more we engage with drama, the more they want to drain your energy. I call them like kind of like energy vampires.
Mm-hmm.
The more,
Just in time for
the more
Halloween.
exactly, the more we allow them to be dramatic and drain on energy, the more they do it. See, they drain on energy, but they
Mm.
refuel their own energy by that, by doing
Yeah.
it.
Makes
So,
sense.
as setting boundaries and not engaging in drama and saying, um, I know it wasn't the perfect outcome that you wanted, but you can live through it.
Yeah.
It's I mean, drama, it's not a life and death situation.
Yeah.
It's not a experience that you see a loved one suffer, or you are going into a experience of life and death situations. And drama is just, as I said, a production. You produce
Yeah.
drama.
And then I have some other friends. This is another type that has suffered true trauma, but they're often ultra dramatic about things that are other like drama, and then they sometimes use their trauma as an excuse about why they're dramatic about other things. So like that's an interesting combination of individual as well. And
Those people that unfortunately are stuck in that situation, and as you said, they use the trauma and the drama for excuses. And it's a fine, it's a not a difficult situation to handle, but it's tough because uh, they are entangling the two together.
hmm,
You see, they think one has like kind of like a domino effect from one to the other.
hmm,
So usually these people are the most people that are stuck in, and they don't know what they want or how to move forward. These are the people that need, I mean, all drama people maybe less, but traumatic people definitely need professional help. These people also need to talk to someone in order to
hmm.
get them unstuck and be at cause, rather than using the excuses for why not they doing the things that they need to be doing.
Hmm. Yeah, and then and I think there's also like
You
a
have
level
all
of
kinds of
depression.
friends. You have
Yeah,
all array of
yeah.
we all do.
I'm very friendly.
We all, yes, no, no, we all do. We all do have at least one in each category.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so and I just want to help them all. I just want to love them all and like lift them all up. And I'm sure people out there watching have friends in each of these categories too. Might even be the person watching. So if you're
That's right.
watching it and you're super dramatic, bring the drama down. What you call it? It's
The
almost
drama.
take a bow, take a bow and close the curtain on the drama.
Yes. Exactly, exactly. Drama is not going to kill you. Drama is not uh, after your life. You're going to survive with drama. Just reframe the thinking a little bit and understand that you are in control. You can manage the drama.
Yes, beautiful. So, is there any last word on this category and on this topic that you love for our listeners and watchers and viewers and all the people all around the world that tuned in just to see you, Coach Bonnie?
Yeah.
What do you want to tell them?
People, you don't need to go through your traumatic experience alone. There are organizations, there are people that can support you, heal your wounds, heal the trauma. So please, please seek help if this is something that you really don't need to uh, carry on with you as you move through life. So my invitation is to please seek help. Talk
Yeah.
to someone, even even if it's a friend. Don't let it stay inside of you. Bring it
Hmm.
out. Talk it out.
And
Journal it.
yeah.
Pick, yeah.
Stop picking the
So that,
scab too.
yeah.
Stop picking the scab. So many people just keep on picking the scab, and they in the end not aren't healing the right way. Where can they find
Exactly.
you?
So they can go to bonniesadigh.com or my Instagram page, Coach Bonnie NLP. I would love to see you there.
And yes, we call it. And this woman has so much wisdom, so much knowledge for you. And if you need help, you're not sure where to turn to, she is an amazing asset and an amazing source and
Thank
somebody who can help you through it. And you're available remotely as well, correct?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So no matter
Most
where
am.
you're at in the world, this woman is here for you.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for your kind and sweet words. I appreciate you, Anthony,
I
and
appreciate you.
I enjoy Thursday evenings spending time with you.
Uh,
Truly.
as do I so much, and thank you once again. And we love you for coming, and we thank you for coming. And it's always learn so much, and our viewers always
Thank you.
learn so much every time you're here.
Thank you for having me. Have a great rest of your evening.
You do, and happy Halloween to you too.
Happy Halloween. That's right.
Find balance, and reconnect with joy. Your vehicle is balancing the wheel, and we're here to support you in becoming more happier, healthier, and successful. wheelofwellbeing.com or drsadigh.com.
Do you have viruses or malware warnings? Have a problem with your computer and need help? 24 hours, 7 days. Computer emergency services. Convenience and savings at your fingertips. Download our free app and keep in touch.